Hello. This video will cover fundamentals of the web. So, if you're interested in learning about what the internet is, web browsers, web servers, clients, and URLs, then this video is for you. Maybe you're just starting out with learning to code, or maybe you're already in the tech field and would like to refresh your understanding of these concepts. You may also just be curious and find it interesting to know what is going on behind the scenes of your day-to-day activities as you browse the web. Understanding these fundamentals will help you as a web developer, but also as a general navigator of the web. So, let's get started with what is the internet? The internet can be thought of as many cables or many wires connecting our devices to large computers. Our devices can be computers such as laptops or desktops, or mobile devices such as smartphones and tablets. These cables are how information is transferred worldwide. So there's cables under the sea that transfers information across continents, and also cables on land that transfers information more locally within continents, connecting towns and cities, for example. The internet powers many day-to-day activities online, such as accessing and browsing the web. But what actually is the web? The web is also known as the World Wide Web, or WWW for short, and it was first created by Sir Tim Berners-Lee to efficiently share and access information worldwide. Three key components of the web are web pages, web browsers, and web servers. So, what is a web page? A web page is an individual one-page document created with HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So a web page is known as an HTML document. The document will likely also have the addition of CSS, which stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and also JS, which stands for JavaScript. These are web languages used to create and style the web page. We'll cover more about web languages in detail in other videos, but for now, think of HTML as the website structure, the text you see on a website. Think of CSS as the styling, the visuals, the colors you see on websites, and think of JavaScript as the moving parts that you may see on a website. Interactivity, things you can interact with. Content such as text, images, videos, links, and other media can be found on web pages. So now we've covered what a web page is. A collection of web pages is known as a website. So multiple web pages sharing the same domain name make up a website. So if there was a website called www.example.com, the homepage of that website could have /home at the end. The about page could have /about, and the contact page could have /contact. So those collection of web pages, the home page, the about page, and the contact page, would together be classed as one website because of the example.com that they share. Individual web pages need a way to link to each other. If a user is viewing one web page and they need to access another web page, there needs to be a way to get from that one page to another page. And the way that this happens is via hyperlinks. Hyperlinks are also known as links, and they are areas or elements that can be clicked on to navigate from one page to another. So, the web works by navigating between HTML documents on different computers via hyperlinks. We now know how to navigate between web pages, so the next few topics are going to be about how to access a website. Just like how streets have addresses to distinguish between houses, websites have unique names called website addresses or web addresses or URLs, which is short for Uniform Resource Locator. These web addresses, or URLs, are used to differentiate between different websites on the internet. When it comes to web addresses, we need somewhere to enter the web address in order to view the website. Web addresses are entered into the address bar on a web browser. A web browser is a program or a tool used to access and view information such as website content on the internet. This is where users can browse websites and navigate between different web pages using hyperlinks, like we've just covered. The first web browser created was a text browser, meaning it displays only text. So no images, no videos, no multimedia, just plain text. Many browsers have been created over the years since that first text browser, and more recently, we have graphical browsers, which means images and videos can be displayed as well as text. Some common web browsers include Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Apple Safari, and Microsoft Edge. When it comes to the process of accessing a website, it involves a few more steps on top of entering the URL into the address bar. It involves a very fast and efficient interaction between a client and a server. So, a client is an application or a tool that requests and receives data from a server. An example of a client is a web browser, as it requests and receives information from a web server. Clients, such as web browsers, can be found on client devices. Examples of client devices can be computers, such as laptops and desktops, mobile devices, such as smartphones, tablets, smartwatches, etc. Earlier, we learnt about our devices connecting to large computers. These large computers are called web servers. So these servers actually serve us information such as HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files, and a lot more information. They send that information to our client devices when we request them via the web browser. We've covered a lot of topics here, so bringing it all together, here is a brief outline of how everything we have learnt so far in this video connects and relates to each other. So the internet is what brings everything together. Without the internet, the client-server process, browsing websites, and many other things would not be able to happen. Let's go through the client request and server response process. So as an example, let's say we have user 1. User 1 wants to access a specific website. And in order for user 1 to access that specific website, user 1 needs to have a client device. So for this example, let's say it's a laptop. So user 1 logs into their laptop, accesses a web browser, and enters the specific web address or URL of that website into the address bar. The client is therefore requesting that website from the web server. So the request is sent to the server picks up the request from the client and provides a response including HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and any other assets such as images, videos, etc., and sends it to the client. And that is how the website is then displayed on the client side, the web browser. A client request and server response process usually occurs in less than 3 seconds, so it is very quick, and that is in order to reduce bounce rate. Bounce rate is a user clicking on a website and then clicking off of that website quickly. That is something that any website owner tries to avoid. They do not want their users clicking off immediately. They want their users to be able to access the information that they need and potentially come back to their website again. So that is an outline of the client and server process. Next up, we're going to do a Q&A to help solidify the information that we have just learnt. This section is a quick fire question and answer. But feel free to pause the video at any point to think of your answer, or if you want to go back to revisit any sections of the video, then feel free to do that too. Question number 1 is, how does the internet differ from the web? The internet connects computers on a network of large cables on land and under the sea. The internet also has wireless capabilities, whereas the web runs on the internet and provides access to web pages and other content via URLs. The next question is, what is a hyperlink? A hyperlink is a connector of web pages. It's a clickable element that easily directs users from one web page to another web page. The next question is, how is a web page different from a website? A web page is a document found on the web, written in HTML and viewed in a web browser. CSS is also used for styling and JavaScript for interactivity. A website is a collection of related web pages that share a web address. The next question is, what does URL stand for? URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. The next question is, what is the purpose of the address bar in a web browser? The address bar, which is found in a web browser, is where web addresses, also known as URLs, are entered to view web pages. And the final question, how does a web browser interact with a web server? A web browser, which is a type of client, sends requests for web content to a web server. A web server then sends back a response to display a website in the browser. I hope you found this video useful. Remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in another video soon.